It's definitely true or false. After he finished school, he became a professional. He became a professional. That's right. Number five, and he had to change careers because of a health problem. Yeah, what's the mean? Is that true? Definitely true. He had to do it. Maybe you work, you are, so like your career working as a soccer player, and it can be very dangerous. Stop with it. He had to change. And number six, he has recently completed a degree in sport journalism. True. Yeah, what about number seven? He has already written articles from the BBC. Yeah. Yes, true. Are you sure?
False, because she reads in the national newspaper.
Yes, she has written articles for a national newspaper, not for the BBC. That's right. Number eight, in his life, he has had a lot of opportunities. True. Yes. What happens if you have a lot of opportunities? You take them, work on it. Yes, achieve them. That's right. All right. So, what else? Let's get to the point. I thought that was very clear too. And have you ever did that? Have you ever experienced something like that before, where you had to change your career? Well, imagine you're working as a doctor, and then you have a big problem. You gotta, we'll change their careers for many reasons, but there's something they're not like for a good reason. And maybe because of problems, inconvenience, and because our, I don't know, our way of life, or maybe it's not that right. Yes, let's be focused on this verbs in the bold phase. All right. Now, what is that we have to do? We are going to identify the verbs or the sentences. In this case, the verbs are in bold. Are they in the present perfect or in the simple past? How do we know that these verbs are in the present perfect and in the simple past? Let's go with the first one. Is it in the present perfect or simple past? Present. Okay, so the question is, how do we notice that it's the present perfect? Anyone else? How do we know that this verb is in the present perfect? How do we know that we are talking about the present perfect?
The past experience. And
one thing, that's right, because we are talking about a past experience, and also because of this auxiliary. You know, when we talk about present perfect, what do we use? Have and the past participle. What about this one? Live, is it the present perfect or past simple?
Past simple.
Past simple or simple. What about this one? Has lived.
Present perfect.
Yes. He became.
Simple past.
Simple past. Had.
Simple past.
What about has completed? Has, yes, has written. And has had. All right. So now we're going to be working with both tenses. So, and you already said that we are going to use the present perfect to talk about what? And here, let me show you the differences between them so that we can have a big understand about when we should use each one, the present perfect or the simple past. What are the differences? We're gonna see that later on. Let's go with the first one and the simple, okay, the present perfect tense. Just let me show you quickly. And just for you to remind, or maybe remind you that for when or how do we form, when do we use the present perfect? As you already said, to talk about experiences or something you have done that you have done in your life, in your whole life up to now. You remember, you understand? In your whole life up to now, until this moment of your life. So what have you done so far? What have you tried? What have you started? What have you begun? Right? Exactly. So one of the some common uses of the present perfect is to talk about actions that happened at some time in the past. But listen, we do not say when. Also, we talk about situations that started in the past and continue to be true in the present. That's what we call present perfect. It's an action that started in the past and it is still happening now. Can you give me an example? You might say, I have studied English for 2 or 3 years. So what does it mean? That I have studied, I have practiced, I have been trained to do this. So something you are still doing in the present, but you started in the past. You started in the past and you're still doing it. Yes. But how do we form them? How do we form the present perfect? We are going to need these auxiliaries, as you already seen before, right? Have or has. And the past participle. What is the past participle? We are talking about the main verb. You know, it's not just the or like this one. It's like do, did, done. We are going to see that. And for question, we perfect. Now, let me show you what are, let's talk about the past participle. What is the past participle? You know, in your books, you have a list of verbs. In the first column, you have the infinitive, I mean, the base form of the verb. Second column, you have the past simple or the simple past. And in the third column, you have the past participle. So when forming the present perfect, you are going to take these verbs from this column, from the third column, the past participle. All right. What is the sample the past participle of the verb be? Been, had. All right. What will be the past participle of the verb choose? Chosen. The verb do, done. Exactly. So when you form the present perfect, you need to take these verbs. That's what we call the verbs in the past participle. Come on, it's not a hard. I need to use this one. You need to use them too. Okay, that is right. So, in other words, when you want to talk about your experience in your life and talk about things that you have done in your life so far, you might use the present perfect. Is that clear? Later on, we're going to see some examples now. Okay, what about the simple past? What about the simple past tense? Is that the same? And let me tell that it's a little bit different. So the simple or the past simple tense is to express. Here is the difference, everybody. Is to express a completed action at a specific time in the past. It's not the same of the present perfect. This is a completed action in the past, but at a specific time, right? So, for example, it's an action that started in the past and finished in the past, and it's not happening now. And that is the simple past, okay? And also, we use we use it to express past habits. Past habits, you know, I went to university, I went shopping, I went to the gym yesterday, I cooked and I cooked lunch, I had a picnic yesterday. So we are talking action that I did in the past and I finished in the past. All right, and how do we form? How do we form this simple past? As you may know, what do we need? We need to take the verb from the second column. All right. So when forming the simple past, you need to say the verb for the second column, not for the third column, for the second column. Played, went, tried, worked. So what do we need? We need these auxiliaries, the auxiliary did, for all of the subject. Did I, did you, did he, did she, did it, did we, did we play. And the verb in the base form, okay? And also for the negative form, we need this one, didn't. I didn't do my homework, teacher. I didn't practice my English this week. I didn't go shopping this week. I didn't go on vacation yet, right? Did you do your homework? Did you practice English this week? So we are talking about the simple past tense, all right? And that is the difference. So now let me ask a question, everybody. What are the differences between them? What are the differences between, or what is the difference between the present perfect and the simple past tense? An idea. So what are the differences? An idea? So what's the difference between the present perfect and the simple past tense?
The present perfect for past experience in your life, and the for recent past actions, in the simple past for finished action in the past.
For actions that are finished in the past. That's right. So here you are. Said. We are going to use the simple past when the action started in the past, finished in the past, and is not happening now. While the present perfect is an action that started in the past and is still happening now. All right, let me give you a clear example. And you know, when we talk about the simple past, for example, we can do this one. I studied, English yesterday. So what does it mean? I studied English yesterday. So what does it mean? I start this activity in the past. I finished in the past, and it's not happening now. It was just yesterday. All right. But now what about if I say this one? I have studied, listen, English for 3 years. So what does it mean? That I've started this action in the past and I'm still doing it. I'm still having relevance in the present, right? That's what we call present perfect, that I have studied English. So I mean that still continue learning, or studying English. That we saw this one for 3 years. So I'm still doing it. Those are the difference between the present perfect and the simple past tense. I know that it could be, it's not this one. So anytime you're going to talk about and you want to talk about experience in your life, and you want to talk about something that you have done in your whole life up to now, we are going to use the present perfect. But if you want to talk about actions that you did in the past, and we want to talk about your routines and what you did yesterday, or what you did yesterday or last year, last week, yes, we use this word. All right. But here we're trying to see both tenses, so we can just make the difference when we should use them too. But now I just quickly explain you a little bit about and which kind of situation we should use each one. Okay, can you please now go in our books now? Go back to, and let's continue. And so that was just a clear it's not just a quick explanation, so you can have an idea too. But now I want you to follow me on this page. Can you please follow me on this part? Okay. And 122. So we have seen the form and the use of each tense, the present perfect and simple past tense. But now we're going to have a quick review, okay? Just to go on and just to see the examples so that we can have an better idea. So let me make it bigger. So here in this book, we have some sentences that I want to just do with you. Okay, give me a second. It's a bit long. Okay, listen to these following sentences that we have on page 122. Listen and see and identify which sentence are we talking about. Here we go.
I've never been fired from a job. Ivan has already finished work and it's only 3 p.m. I've heard that Simona is leaving the company. My dad has been retired for 12 years. I've been to Australia twice. I last went there 2 years ago.
True. We are using both tenses then. All right. In some cases, the actions start in the past and it has a relevance in the present. That's why we use the present perfect. But if that action started and finished in the past, we just use the simple past too. Present perfect, as I already said, we are going to need this word. We have seen the forming, you know, have and has plus the past participle. That's the rule. Maybe you want to write it down if yes, in case you forgot. And so one of the main characteristics of the present perfect is that we form in that way. Yes. As we said, the main focus is to talk about experiences in our life. Let me show you some sentences. I've been to the US 3 times. I have or I've never eaten Mexican food. Have you ever traveled abroad for work? She's seen this movie before. So when we talk about experience, everybody, okay, let me show you the first one. Just remember, and this one is just the construction of this word, I have. So don't get confused. I've, or you can say I have. I've or I have. Now let's be focused on this other word, ever. Why am I using ever in this question? Ever. Have you ever traveled abroad for work? We are going to use ever in questions to talk about experiences. It's like saying, ¿alguna vez have you ever traveled abroad for work? So we use this one to talk about experiences. Have you ever gone to a concert or to the concert? Have you ever gone or have you ever visited another country? Have you ever tried Italian food? Have you ever spoken Portuguese? All right, so we talk about yes experience using that word. And also, if you want to talk about something that happened earlier than we expected or didn't happen than we expected, we already, yet, and still. So let's look at all this word. Already, yet, and still. How do they work? let me click on the following part here. Then let's see the first sentence. I've already spoken to Tony. What does it mean? I have already spoken. So what does it mean? And I said, yeah, okay, ya he hecho tal cosa. It means that it happened earlier than we expected. You see. And did you do your homework? Yes, teacher, I have already finished. I have already finished. I mean that I just earlier than expected, right? Teacher, I have already done my homework. So I didn't earlier than expected, right? So that's when we use the word already. That's right. But now we have the word yet. The word yet is only for questions and negative sentences. Listen, you can say like this. Have you done your homework yet? ¿Ya hiciste tu tarea? Have you done your homework yet? Or have you written that report yet? Now, teacher, I haven't. So, or I haven't finished yet. So you can use in this both in questions and in a negative sentence. And teacher, I haven't done my homework yet. I haven't practiced my English yet. So, right? Yes. Or you can also say, I still, aún no he hecho mi tarea. I still haven't done my homework, teacher. Yeah, I still haven't done my homework. So these two words are used in a question and in a negative sentence, yet and still. All right. Then we have for and since. For and since are these words to use about the duration of a situation that started in the past and still true in the now. So one of the main characteristics of the present perfect are these two words. For and since are always used in the present perfect. For example, I have worked here for 10 years. That is the duration. I'm trying to show the duration of the action. Or she lived here since. And listen, I work here for, trabajo aquí por 10 años, o sea que todavía sigo trabajando. Ahora, aquí, ella ha vivido aquí desde el 85, o sea que sigue aún viviendo. Entonces, una de las mejores características, estas palabras siempre las usamos en el presente perfecto. For and since, to show the duration of a situation that started in the past and is still true now. Okay, so you can say like this, as I already said. I have studied English for how many years have you studied English? Have you studied English? You say, I have studied English for 2 or 3 or 4 years. You need to show the duration. But you can say, I have started to study English since 2019. All right, because you're still learning, you're still studying English too. Okay, now let's keep moving. Now let's see both. Let's see both tenses. I already showed you the differences. So you know the present perfect again to talk about. And also here is another use is about, yes, the past from the perspective of the present. What else? So what is it? Let me just show you some sentences. This is the best book I ever read. Is in my life until now. So in my whole life, this is the best book I ever read. Es como decirte el mejor libro que he leído. O sea, en toda mi vida hasta ahora. Until now. This is the best I ever. Tengo que decir que jamás es mejor que jamás he leído. I ever read. I ever done. I ever tried. Yes. Or I live in London for 5 years. I have lived in that place for 5 years. So I still live there, right? Yes. You see the difference too? That is also another use of the using of the present perfect too. That they should show the perfectly. Then we have another one. In addition to the adverbs above, we often use the present perfect with words and time expressions such as so far, this morning, today, this week, and this year. So what does it mean? Let me show you one. I've seen my friend twice this year. You can use this time expressions to show what? When exactly happened all that action to work. You say this one twice this year. Or he's only read one chapter of the book so far. Or so far, it means up to now. So use this one. Okay. Now let's go with the simple past tense. We only need to talk about completed actions in the past. And that's it, that completed action. And that's not they're not happening now. For example, and I got this one. I lived in London for 5 years. So I mean, I don't live there anymore. I don't live there now. Or we had a great vacation. We are not on vacation now because it finished and it ends in the past. Or I read that book that summer. I got home for hours home 2 hours ago. Or when did you arrive home to? That's when we talk about the past simple too. Okay, now let's see both again, the present perfect and the simple past tense again. So here we have some question like this one. And we often ask a question or say something in the present perfect and then give more information in the simple past. So you can use both tenses in this case. Have you ever met Anna's sister? You might say, yes, I met her. I talked to her at Anna's birthday party last month. Do you know anything about Lima? Yes, I've been there. So I know it pretty well. I went there last year. So in this case, you can use both tenses when you want to describe or give a description. So you need to be careful. If that action is still happening now, you might use the present perfect. But if that action is finished and started in the past, just use the simple past. Okay. And when we talk about being, the use of this word been is mostly that to talk about experiences. When we talk about experience, mean that you went or visit some place. So we just use this word to talk about experiences. And for example, have you ever been to Lima? I mean, have you ever been? It means if you have visited. Been means if you have visited and then you go back or you went back. So we talk about experience. Have you ever been to this place? Have you ever been to this country? So in this case, we use been to talk about experience visiting places. All right. Now, I know that can be a little bit long, but I end up trying to get confused with this word. Okay. Let's see some exercises that we have below so that we can see both tenses, so that we can understand the differences and in the actions in context. Okay, let me show you this first exercise so that we can complete together. Then we move on. So here we need to choose one of them. Is it the present perfect or the simple past tense? Let's do it together so that we can just complete it and move on. Okay, number one. I've been to the movies 3 times this or last week. What will you say? here we got a time expression. We need to choose. It will be like this one. I have been to the movies 3 times. This week or last week?
This week.
¿Cuánto?
Yes, because I am talking about something that I'm still doing it, right? So I've been doing this. So this week. Last week is for action that started and finished in the past. Last week, yesterday, 2 years ago are for actions yes in the past. 2, Sarah has spoken or Sarah spoke to me yesterday. This is the clue.
Spoke.
Spoke to me yesterday. That is right. Number 3, have you seen or do you see Maria recently?
Have you seen?
Have you seen?
Have you seen recently? Number 4, do you plan or have you planned your vacation yet?
Have you planned your vacation yet?
Yeah, this is the clue. Yes, have you planned your vacation yet? Number 5, I never went or I've never been to Moscow.
I've never been to Moscow.
Have never been. You know, the word being, as I said, is to talk about experiences, visiting places. Been. All right. Don't use go or gone for talking about experiencing visiting places. We use been. Number 6, I visited lots of beautiful places when I was in Argentina last year. This is the clue.
Visited.
I visited. That's right. Number 7, this is the most difficult job I ever had or I ever had.
I ever had.
Write it. Write it.
I've
And
ever had.
I've ever had. Present perfect. This is the most difficult job I have ever had. Present perfect. Yes. What about number 8? Sorry, I haven't cooked.
I haven't cooked.
Because of yeah, I haven't cooked yet. I hope you're hungry. You are hungry. 9. Her plane has arrived or arrived at 10:45. Present perfect.
The number 5 is simple.
Which
Simple-
one?
simple past.
Sorry. Number 10. What have you bought? What have you thought? Or what do you think of the movie? What about this one? What do you think about the movie, right? Exactly. That is right. Let's keep moving. Is there any question? No. Let's continue with the next one and then we go back. Okay, go and do the next one. Number 2. We need to do one more exercise. In this part, we need to just say correct. Check the sentences if they are correct. Then correct the incorrect sentence. Yeah, right. So here we have 10 different sentences where you need to see which one is correct and which one is incorrect. The incorrect sentences should be corrected. Can you try? Let me help you with the first one. Tom just moved to Bogota. Is it correct or incorrect? Any idea?
Incorrect.
Why? I think it's correct. So you know this is just an expression that we use just for in the sample past too, right? And you can say like this: I just yeah.
Yes, it's correct.
The word just, it means that you have already finished something. You say, I just finished, I just moved, I just done. All right, it's 1, 2, right? Good. What about the next one? I broken my leg 6 months ago.
Incorrect.
Incorrect. Because it's finished action in the past.
Yeah, because of the verb. You cannot say I broken my leg because it's not happening now. It's an action that finished in the past. And you might say, I've broke my leg 6 months ago. This is the clue. 6 months ago, I broke my leg. Exactly. This is incorrect. What about number 8? Number 3. What about number 3?
Is incorrect.
Why?
Because he has worked here since
Yes.
2016.
He has worked. Yes, write it down. He has worked. Present perfect. He has worked since, or was there, here since 2008. That's right. Number 4, and Michael has worked really hard this year. Is that right? Really hard. Has worked hard, really. Yeah, hard. Yeah, that's right. Number 5. Have you lived here since 5 years? Any idea? Okay, try to identify. Are you sure? Have you lived here since 5 years? Do you agree? Any idea? Try to identify them. What about instead of saying sings, we use, so which word do we use instead of sings? Have you lived here for 5 years? Sings is for specific numbers, for specific years. You say since 1998, since 2008, since, yeah, this one you need to mention just a right number, but 4 is just to talk about more general, for a long period of time, for a short period of time. But since is for one more specific time, a year, a time. All right, good. Number 6. When have they gotten married?
Incorrect. Because it's the finish action.
Yes. When, ¿cómo sería la pregunta correcta? How would be the correct question number here?
When did they gotten married?
You're using the simple past. So, but when did they, what else? When did they Is it correct? Is that right? When did they get married? Or do we say when do they get married? Because of the simple past tense. When do you get married? When did they get married? Now is correct. Yes. What about number 7? Have you spoken to Maria about the party yet? Is
Yes,
it
it's correct.
Yes, it is. This is correct. Yeah, what about number 8? We are about to finish. This is the best pizza I ever had. Which one is incorrect? Is it correct or incorrect? This is the best pizza I...
It's incorrect because this is the best pizza I had ever.
Yes, you need to say, I have ever had. That's right. Or you can just contract this one. I've ever had. That is right. Number 9. I've seen John in the park yesterday. Is that correct? You are saying yesterday. Any idea? Any idea when you say yes to this word? Yesterday. Is it for the present or past simple?
It is for the past simple. Past simple.
So I need to say I saw, right? And you might say I saw whom? I saw John. Yeah, I saw John in the park yesterday. That's correct. Number 10. Have you enjoyed the game last night? Is it correct or incorrect? Last night. Present perfect or simple past tense?
Incorrect. A simple present.
Why?
Simple past. Because it's in past action. Finish.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me click on this one too, right? Correct. You need to say, did you enjoy? Did you enjoy? Yes. Did you enjoy the game last night? Simple past tense. All right. My question is, how can we identify or how can we notice that we are talking about the simple past? Or how can we identify one of the main characteristics, listen, and one of the main characteristics of using the simple past tense are this word. For example, some useful hints. This is for the simple past tense. You know, we always use the simple past tense with this using this word or phrases, because remember that the simple past tense is for action that started in the past and finished in the past. So that's why we use words like this: yesterday, last week, last summer, last year, last weekend, right? Exactly. Or in January, in February, in 2009, right? In the 80s. So to show when you did the action in the past, or an hour ago, a weeks ago, a year ago, and etc. Or you might say, so those are the main, one of the main most common phrases that we use in the simple past or past simple, right? But if we use about the present perfect, we use for, since, yet, already, or ever, right? Yeah, that's right. That's for you to have an idea when you should form them too. So is there any questions so far so that we can continue? Hey, we have more about them too. Can we just go back, please? Try to complete the following exercise that you have in the next part so they can practice about these two tenses. But that's the idea. Go back. And let's see a little bit about the pronunciation because we have the construction of the present perfect. What is the construction of the I have in English? So, you know, we have this word, I've. Or let me just write it in capital letters because this one. I've. Come on, that is the same as saying of this word. Like this. I have. So we get it clear, this one. I have. But how do we pronounce following sentences? And I want you to notice the differences between the present perfect and the simple past tense too. And also the right pronunciation of this word, because it sounds like this. I played, I cooked, I studied. So listen to the following sentences.
1. A. I've lived here for 5 years. B. I lived here for 5 years. 2. A. He's met her before. B. He met her before.
So, like this. I've lived. Lived. You need to be careful also the verb in the past form. He's met. He's met. Instead of saying he has, it's the same as saying like this, you know, and he has. He has met. Or you can say he's met her before. I lived there, or like I lived here for 5 years. He met her before. He met her before. So that's something you should just be careful when you pronounce them, or instead of when they are like constructed or in the base form. Okay, here we have another listening. We have some incomplete sentences. We need just to fill them. Fill them out. And with, are they their present perfect or simple past? Can you try it? Listen and complete the following sentences.
1.
I've met him a few times.
2.
We enjoyed our vacation.
3.
He's found a good job.
4.
They've decided to take the course.
5.
She called the company.
All right. So what about number 1? Is it the present perfect or simple past? Is it? Okay, one more time.
1.
I've met him a few times.
2.
We enjoyed our vacation.
3.
He's found a good job.
4.
They've decided to take the course.
5.
She called the company.
Okay. Number 1, is it the present perfect or simple past?
Present perfect.
So how would it be? I've met. So sometimes as it doesn't sound clear, right? I've yes, a little bit. I've met him a few times. How do we notice? How do we know? Because of the verb. Met is not meet, is met. 2, present, perfect, or simple past.
Past. We enjoy it.
Enjoyed it, enjoyed it, enjoyed it. Yes, we enjoyed it our vacation. Number 3, present, perfect, or simple past.
Present perfect. Simple past. Present.
Present perfect. He's found, yes, he's found a good job. Number 4, they
Decide.
is it the present perfect or simple past?
Simple past. They decide.
Are you sure? Do you hear this word like they've decided. They've decided to take the course. All right, present perfect. Number 5, she, present or simple?
Simple. Simple. She called.
Simple past tense. Okay, listen now once again so you get it clear. And it should be this one too. Listen.
1,
I've met him a few times.
I've.
2,
We enjoyed our vacation.
3,
He's found a good job.
4,
They've decided to take the course.
They've.
5,
She called the company.
She called the company. She called. All right. So maybe as a teacher, this is a construction of the verb to be. No way. This is not a construction of the verb to be. It's the construction of the present perfect. But I would say why? How do I know? Because of the verb in the past participle. You say, yeah, I am talking about the present perfect. He's found. It's not he is fine. He's found. He's found. Or you can say he has found a good job. If you don't want to get confused, you can also say like this. And he has found. That is more formal than saying he's found. You know, in more formal, in informal situation, when you're talking to friends, someone you know very well, you say, we use construction. But if you want to use and want to apply for a job, if you are in an interview, it's better, it's necessary, it's necessary, it's better that you use more formal words. No, we have one more listening and then we just go, okay? Number 7, another listening. This is just a conversation between 2 people. And this is about, again, work and careers. Now listen and complete. You choose only one option. Here we go, once again.
How long has Karen been in her current job?
She's been there for a month. She's a project manager in a construction company.
Was she looking for a job for a long time, or did she get a job quickly?
A long time. She was unemployed for 2 years.
Did she do an internship with that company before she got the job?
No, she didn't. When she applied for the job, she didn't know the company.
Has she ever gotten a promotion?
She got a promotion in her last job, but she hasn't gotten one on this job yet.
Has she taken any training courses recently?
She took a project management course when she was unemployed.
Hey, do you finish? Do you complete? Or was it too fast? So let me...
One more time, please.
All right. I'm going to show the answer yet. Listen once again.
How long has Karen been in her current job?
She's been there for a month. She's a project manager in a construction company.
Was she looking for a job for a long time, or did she get a job quickly?
A long time. She was unemployed for 2 years.
Did she do an internship with that company before she got the job?
No, she didn't. When she applied for the job, she didn't know the company.
Has she ever gotten a promotion?
She got a promotion in her last job, but she hasn't gotten one on this job yet.
Has she taken any training courses recently?
She took a project management course when she was unemployed.
What about now? Are they clear? So, you know that we can use both tenses in a situation, because we not only talk about action that you did in the past and start and finish in the past, but also action that started in the past and are still happening now. And this is what I want you to do right now. So like this one. How long have you been learning English? What would you say if somebody asks this one? How long have you been, or have you been in this institute? Or did you, or where, or how do you start learning English? Or have you taken any training course recently? So we can use both tenses in a conversation in a situation like this. True. Now, this is what I want you to do right now, okay? I would like to I want you to use these two tenses, but we are going to talk about our own life. Yes, okay. But we are going to be focused on this time. Okay, let me just close it for a while. So what is it that you have to do? I want you to write, okay? Please grab your pen, your pencil, a piece of paper, and your notebooks. Or you can just go to the chat. But I want you to write this one. You are going to write something, okay? Something about your, something about your life. Okay? I'm going to write something about your life. It has to do about your career, about job or work, anything. But don't forget to use using the present perfect and the simple past. Okay, I'm gonna give you, let's say here, 3 minutes for you to think about this. And I want you to write something about your life. And using, it can be the present perfect or the simple past tense. When we say about your life, okay, you need to write about your life. And it's in terms of your education, in terms of your career, in terms of your studies, or in terms of the place you are working, in terms of the goals you, the goals you achieved, or any accomplishment in your life. Okay, so go. You got 3 minutes. So what would you like to tell us about your life in terms of work and education? Have you received a good education so far? How was your experience learning English? How was your experience and your career? Or how was your experience in your studies? I don't know, maybe choosing a major. Okay. Okay. Anybody else that would like to share with us a little bit about your life? I mean, about your life. Yeah, I mean, so we talk about your education life. Anybody else? Any volunteer that would like to share with us something? I'm all ears. Are you ready? Who's ready? So if you're ready, go ahead. All right. Who's ready? Mary, are you?
I live in Guarne City since I was 5. I studied engineering since I was 18 years old. I got my first job in 2016. I visited over 3 departments, La Paz, Cochabamba, and Oruro.
Very clear too, right? Yes, don't forget. Yeah, that's right. I've studied. That's the word. Very good. Thank you, Mary. That's a very good description that you have done a lot in your life. You know, you have finished college, you have started a career, you have worked, and you have done a lot of things too in terms of your education. Wow. Okay, good. Next one. Anybody else? Let's go with Nisa. So what have you done in your life in terms of education?
Okay. I do about my experience with KAI. Okay, I have studied English for 3 years, and my experience with the KAI Institute was positive. From the first day, there was respect, politeness, dedication in the class. My favorite time was eating outside the classroom with my friend on break. I always ate a sandwich with some tea or some snack that I share with him. I really like it, the text of KAI. I have seen it's very complete and essential.
Clear. Good. Thank you. Right. So that's how you've been doing. And that's a nice description too. Okay, next one. I think is okay. Anybody else? Fiorella, what about you? How's your life been so far in terms of education? Go.
Okay. I like to learn English. I've been studying English for 2 years in the KAI. I think it was not difficult for me learn English because when I was a child, I took a English course in an institute. So I already had experience giving exams in English, lecturing in English. So I think it was not, it isn't difficult for me learn English.
Yeah. Fiorella, I got a question for you. Fiorella, have you ever gone through a job interview in English?
No, I haven't.
Not yet?
Yes.
So you don't know what it feels like being an interview in English. Wow, that will be a great challenge. But I know that you are capable. I mean, you are ready to go to an interview in English, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yeah, right?
Yes, teacher.
Everybody's here ready, I think, because you know how to express yourself. That is the yes when somebody is this one. All right. So later and anything that you should. Okay, good. Next one. Anybody else? Okay, Alberto.
I graduated for school in 2016. I have studied industrial engineer since 2017. I have studied English for 3 years. I have lived in Santa Cruz my whole life.
Okay, you have lived in Santa Cruz all your life. Are you planning to move on? I mean, to move to another city? Or you like, or maybe
Yes,
where?
maybe Canada.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Why do you want to go to Canada?
For better opportunity, studying English more.
Wow, that would be cool. That is a great. So keep it up, Alberto. Right. So maybe now that you know how to speak English, now you know how to behave and interact with people in English. It's gonna be a great time, and it's a great opportunity for you to work in another country, and even more in a foreign language, in a native country that is, well, you're gonna be exposed to this language. Wow, Canada. I like that place too. Very good. Okay, after the break, we are going to continue with the people who are missing and to share with us your your experience with education in your life. Okay, so after the break, we continue with our comment and sharing our ideas. Time for break. Time for breakfast. Okay, let's take a 30 minutes break for you to have and eat something, and then we go back. Okay, see you in 30 minutes. Enjoy your breakfast. we are back again, and so we need to continue and be welcome to our last session. So, all right. I hope you all enjoyed your breakfast. I hope now you feel relaxed, de-stressed, and ready to continue and to keep talking, to keep practicing. Okay, here we are back again. Okay, let's continue with what we were doing in the previous session. And we were, talking, we were sharing some common and thoughts and opinion. And in this case, experience in terms of our education and how was our, education terms in terms of, our work, our lives, and now. And I've been listening to Fiorella, and been listening to also what was it? This one too. Now I like to listen to the next one. I also listened to Nisa. Yeah. All right. So okay, let's continue. And because I would like to hear more comments about so how was your life, or how is your experience in terms of education, work, job, and anything. Okay. All right. Who was going to be the next one? And okay, Solange is missing. Okay, who is next? We should start and continue with Moises. Moises, hello.
Hi, teacher.
Okay, would you like to tell us a little bit about your experience?
Sobre write something about your life using the present perfect and the simple past?
Yes, that's right. So what would you like to tell us about this?
Okay, teacher. I was studying in the school, Pedro Áñez Pedraza. I decided study in the career engineer food. I studied at the Gabriel Funes Moreno. I've a career that lasts 5 years.
And what about in the future, Moises? What would you like to do in the future? What do you want? What do you want to be in the future? Do you want to be an engineer, a doctor?
Engineer food.
And you want to be an engineer in terms of, okay, that's good. You like the job. Are you, Moises, can you cook? How good are you in the kitchen? Pretty good. Okay. Thank you. Okay, next one. Anybody else? I think should listen to called Jenny. Hello, Jenny. What about you?
Hello, teacher. I will tell you or talk about my experience on my first class of English on the CBA institution. And I started learning English on the CBA, and for some reason it was a little bit uncomfortable, especially with some of my partners or classmates. Maybe because I didn't used to talk too much, and that makes them feel more uncomfortable. And then sometimes I used to feel really uncomfortable that I didn't used to see the whiteboard. I was just sitting on my chair and looking at my notebook because I was really uncomfortable. And I didn't used to pay attention for that reason in my classes. Then I had a teacher that has a different way to teach, and it was different than the other teachers because he learned English. He had learned English on a religion, and he has a really good level of English, but the way that he used to teach was difficult for that reason because he was learning English on other way. I was there learning English for 2 years. And then I changed of institution and I am here now.
So you're here at the kite and learning for more. Okay, good. You know, we always have some experience and not all of them are good. And sometimes they're a little bit like mad because of any reason, because that's life, you know? And we always come across with some difficulties in while we're or with our education. Yeah, that sounds cool. Interesting. How many of you have studied at the CBA? That'll be good. Yeah. Sindel says, okay, Sindel, what would you like to tell us about that?
Yeah, okay. This happened when I was still at school, and we had planned to make a trip to Cancun with all our classmates. But I have been waiting for the trip until now because due to the pandemic, it could not be done. Since we had planned to travel 2 years ago, and now that I am in college, I have also been thinking about traveling with my friends, but now we go somewhere else.
All right, I see that. That sounds cool. That's interesting too. Right, good. Thank you. Thanks for sharing comments. Anybody else? I would like to listen to, okay, 2 or 3 more. And Gabriela, what about you, Miss?
I decide to study engineer food at the Gabriel University. I will be studying La Salle High School too.
Okay, Gabriela, what do you want to be in the future?
Maybe I will have create something new, a new product.
True.
About.
Why not?
Yes.
True, because we all of us have the capacity, intelligence enough to do something, to create new things, to innovate. Hey, that's a great idea. Thank you. Anybody else? I mean, I think you call do Solange. You're next. What about you, Miss?
Of Santa Cruz for 5 years. 5 years ago, I also started university to study industrial engineering. During those years, I worked in many ways to get more money and able to study. My last job was 4 months ago. I left our we still communicate. Yeah, and yesterday we planned to go for lunch on Sunday.
Okay, thank you. Great comment too. All right, one more, and then we continue. Who's next? Anybody else? Just feel free to talk. Okay, Omar, it's time to listen to you, Mister. So go.
I study at the University Gabriel René Moreno. In the past, I studied food engineer, but I changed of career. I changed industrial engineering. Actually, the industrial engineering done 4 years.
Okay, Omar, do you have some projects for the future?
Project, maybe teacher. I do my graduation May.
Sounds cool. I hope we can make it. Thank you. Good. That sounds cool. Right. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for your comments. So please keep with this information that you have shared now in your minds. You are going to need in the next coming activity, because you and we are just to practice and do something very interesting too. Okay. You know, because that's this topic about job, about experiences, about education, about work. But now, let's continue. But now, I expect that everybody participate here because I got a very interesting question about this. Okay, now let's talk about this word now. I know that not all of you are working, not all of you have a job, maybe you are studying, but I know, let's talk about this word. Of this topic, job. So let's talk about this word, job. Okay, so let me ask this question. Sometimes we are not happy. We are not happy with our job because of many reasons. Because sometimes it's very hard, it's very difficult because our boss, our colleagues, and so we don't feel very comfortable with our job. So, but now let me ask you this question. What's your dream job? Are you happy with your job? That's my question. Are you happy with your job? Or where would you like to work? So what's your dream job? Any idea? So what's your dream job? So let me give you 1 minute for you to think about this question and then we discuss together. So what would be your dream job? Where would you like to work? I mean, would you like to be maybe an engineer? Would you like to work as an assistant? Would you like to work as a manager? So what would be your dream job? Okay, you have 1 minute and then we discuss together. Think about it. So what would be your dream job and why? Or maybe you might say, I'm happy with my job. I don't need to look for another job because I am happy. I feel good. I feel like, okay, I can't complain about my job. But not everybody's gonna say that. Maybe if you ask me, teacher, what about you? I will tell you later, but first you need to just tell me about this. So any volunteer? All right. Okay, let me ask someone randomly. I would like to ask, I don't know, Nicole. Have you ever asked this question to yourself before? And you say, hey, what?
Sorry, teacher.
So, what will you say?
Well, sorry, I'm sick.
Oh.
Well, when I was a child, when I was in school, I think I was thinking about what career, what kind of career I want, and first I decided to prove in medicine, but I've decided to study industrial engineering. So my job, I was thinking I had thinking of specializing in quality control, but my first goal for this year is pass all my subjects. So I wasn't thinking so much about my job. So that's all.
I understand. Okay, so you haven't made or you haven't taken any goals or any goals yet in terms of your will be your dream job or where would you like to work. So you need what you just want to is cover, finish all your subject and keep moving. So once you finish, then you will decide, hey, what would I do? What would I go to this one? So, okay, that sounds cool. Right, very good. Anybody else? What would be your dream job? Are you happy with your job? Do you like your job? Do you love your job? Anybody here is working?
Yes, here, teacher. Mary. My dream job is to be an excellent engineer because I want to work in an oil company here in Santa Cruz City.
Okay, that sounds cool. Do you love your job? Do you love what you do? Do you love what you study?
I study engineering, industrial engineering right now in the UAGRM University.
That sounds cool. All right, that's good. Okay, thank you. Thanks for your comments because we are going to talk about this one, job. All right. Now, there are some questions that we have at the beginning in our books, so that's what we call. So can you please follow me in your books now? On page 50, we are going to talk about our dream job. And also we are going to have the chance to listen to these people from Learning Curve. And we are going to see what they have to share with in terms of their dream job. Dream job. You know, when you were saying that, you know, when we were at school, we dream about being maybe a pilot, being a doctor. But once we finish university, we change our perspective. We want to be engineers. We want to be food engineers. So it would change a little. All right, good. So here, there are some questions. Look at this. Look at this person. What is it here? I love my job. So what kind of work are the six in the world? You know, in the world, there are many different kind of jobs. So you only decide what you want to be in the future, what you like to study. So it depends on your likes and dislikes. So this is what we're going to be discussing later. Okay, we are going to just have again a short review of the more common and most common phrases and about work and careers. Can you please go to this page again? And so we're going to just practice the rest of the phrases that has to do with work and career. Career. Okay, can you please follow me on page 144? So let's follow me, please. So we're going to be focused on this word in bold. And we're going to match with the definitions. Responsible for, employer, temporary, cover letter, unemployed, career, salary, and rewarding. So let's match this word with the definitions. Number one says, I'm responsible for digital marketing. So what's the meaning of responsible for?
I think is letter B.
Write it down. Letter B. You say letter B?
Yes.
Letter A.
Occupation you choose for most of your working life. B, I don't think so. Which one? Is there any other one? Maybe if we say H, we go with H. In charge of. Yes. So it means that you are going to be in charge of someone, in charge of something. So you are responsible for that field, for that area. So you are in charge of. All right. Then what we have, employer. My company was voted the best employer in the region. What is it?
Letter A, a person, no, yes, letter A, a person or company that employs people.
Employs people, that's right, that's the employer. What about number 3, temporary, temporary.
Letter D.
D, and it's like this. A job that usually lasts a few weeks or months, that is temporary. You know, so there are some jobs, temporary jobs where you work just for weeks or months and that's it. Yes. Cover letter. Please send me a cover letter to introduce yourself and say your
Letter G.
Letter G.
Definitely.
A document you send with your resume when you apply for a job.
That's right. Resume. Resume. Yes. Applied. Apply for the job. You send your application. Then we have unemployed. Unemployed. Who is this person? Who is, what is?
Letter F without work.
Without work. You say in our country, in our city, there are many unemployed people, right? Because they're like lack of work. Maybe because they don't want to work because of the salary is a bit low, so they prefer not working. Okay, what about next one? Career. What is it?
Letter B.
It's the occupation you choose for most of your working life. That's career. Then we have salary.
Letter C.
Letter C.
Money you
receive for doing your job.
Job, that is right. Then we have the reward. So what's rewarding?
Letter A. Letter E. A feeling of satisfaction that you've done something useful.
And in Spanish, how do we call reward? It's a
gratificante.
Yeah, it's an adjective, but how do we call this one? Reward. It comes from there, reward, something like.
Como una recompensa, teacher.
You got it. Exactly. So when do we get a reward? When do we get a reward for doing something that you something that you have done or helped someone or something useful to someone? Exactly. Okay, good. Keep with these words in your mind. Listen to this word, yes, in boldface, and notice how we should pronounce each word.
1. Responsible for. H. 2. Employer. A. 3. Temporary. D. 4. Cover letter. G. 5. Unemployed. F. 6. Career. B. 7. Salary. C. 8. Rewarding. E.
Okay, now keep with these words in your minds. You are gonna need them in a few minutes. Now let's use these words in context. Now we have again more words like full-time, resume, permanent, application form, well-paid or varied, working conditions, stressful. Employees, part-time, and manager. Okay, this is a text we need to just complete it. Oh, that's an email. So you try to complete it with these phrases. Okay, just want to concentrate, please. Go. Try it. It doesn't matter if you're not sure. Ladies, that you try. Later on, you will see if you're right or wrong. Okay, can we check? All right, and Sindel, you finished? Or not yet?
Not yet.
All right, no problem. Let's do it together because there's some words that maybe they're not so common with us. All right, okay, let's go from the beginning. When I finished college, I got a
Part-time?
part-time. Part-time job in a restaurant is like medio tiempo, right? It's a part-time job. And just a few days a week, this gave me time to finish a project management course and look for a
Full-time?
Full-time, yes, es tiempo completo. Right? Full-time job, a part-time job. So not a temporary one. 3,
Working conditions in the restaurant were awful.
In the restaurant were awful. It was too noisy and we worked very late.
Manager
was terrible too. He always yelled at us. That's true. And I thought an office, I thought an office job would be less stressful. So I sent my resume. Synonym for this word resume, you can also say curriculum or resume. Okay, good. So I sent my resume to lots of companies. When I saw an ad for a project manager, I filled in the online application form and had an interview. I got the job. Yeah, I love it. Not 2 days are ever the same. It's very bad.
Well, great.
It's very varied.
Well, great. Very good. Oh, very.
Yes, it's it's a small company with only 10
Employees?
employees. So we all have
Permanent? Well paid? Well paid.
full-time jobs. So we work 38 hours a week. It's quite a full-time or permanent job. So I can save a little money every quite well-paid job. And let's go with this better. It's quite a well-paid job. So I can save a little money every month. A well-paid job, it means that you have you earn enough money to pay all your expenses. You have enough money to save in the bank. And yes, and every month you are saving more money because you have a well-paid job. Because not everybody or every each worker have a well-paid job. Interesting. Can you please go back? Go back. Now it's time to listen to these people and watch and listen to them, and let's see what they are going to tell us in terms of this. Okay, go back, please. Now let's listen. And before we watch or listen, we are going to look at some tips that we should follow when we are going to listen for specific information. What is it that we have to do? And it says like this, let's read it together. It's often important to understand a specific information and specific words. Yes, it is. It is important. So the first thing that you should do is read the question carefully and identify what kind of information you need. Second, think about the possible words you may hear. Important words are usually stress. Stress. We raise our voice. My friend, who's a chef, was laid off. So he started her own business making wedding cakes. So important words, important information are emphasized, are intensified, are stressed so that we understand the main idea or specific information. And also try not to confuse similar sounding words like this. He's employed, or instead of saying he's unemployed. You see, are two different words. Employed, someone who has been hired, and unemployed is someone with no job. Yes. She's 14 is not the same as saying she's 40. She's 14, she's 40. Two different words, right? And you should be careful because they are a little bit similar in terms of sound, all right? So that's why you should be careful in this listening and this, listening and also watching. Okay, now we are going to watch the first part of the show and you're going to make notes. Grab your pencil, please. You're going to make note of some stress word you hear from topic 1 to 4. So the topic that these people are going to talk are Penny's current job, current, Penny's current job, Penny's previous job, the study about job satisfaction, in temporary job agencies. So what you have to do is make note over here in this part. Make note of the some stressed word. So it can be a phrase, it can be just a word, a noun, an adjective. So you should be careful. Okay, so let's watch the first part of this show and let's see what happened. And it's like 2 minutes left. It's not so long. Okay, pay attention. Let's see about Penny's job.
Welcome once again to Learning Curve. I'm Simon here in the UK, and with me is Penny in our US studio. Today, it's all about jobs. Are you one of the lucky people who loves their work?
Yes, I love my work.
Actually, Penny, I was talking to our audience. It's that kind of question.
Oh, sorry. It's just that I get so excited about what I do.
You mean working with me, of course.
Sure, right. And being a presenter for Learning Curve is quite rewarding. And believe me, I've had jobs that weren't rewarding at all.
And you used to be a sales assistant, didn't you?
Yes, but that job was so stressful, I don't even want to talk about it.
Well, we have a lot to cover anyway.
I mean, the working conditions were just awful.
Penny?
Sorry. Carry on.
Well, it isn't easy to find your dream job. One study found that only 30% of people who were born between the 1950s and the 1980s are happy in their work. Like me and Penny. We love our jobs. Even if they are well paid, they still feel unhappy. These days, working conditions are different than they once were. For some people, permanent jobs are not the answer. Over the last few years, more and more people have moved from temporary job to temporary job. In fact, in the US, the third largest job creator is a temporary agency. A temp agency is a company that hires people for short periods of time to fill in at other companies. So, if someone resigns, gets fired, or retires, someone called a temp can fill in.
We aren't temporary, are we?
I certainly hope not.
All right. Now, so what are the notes you've made? So let me show you and see if they're right or wrong. Instead of the first topic that was about Penny's current job. So what did she talk about? That she said that she loved what she does. I love my work. I get so excited about what I do, being a presenter of Learning Curve. It's quite rewarding. Or two, I've had jobs that weren't rewarding at all, as you used to be a sales assistant, didn't you? Yes, but the job was so stressful. The working conditions were just awful. Once that it found, so in the way, so we always give emphasis, we emphasize the word, or the most important words, because we are trying to just understand some more specific information. And that's what we are going to be doing in the next part. Let's listen for more specific information. So there are some words and there are some sentences that are missing in the following part. So we're going to just listen, just not watching. Now, listen and you complete with only just with one word. Let's listen once again. Penny finds her current job. What else? Let's listen again. Okay, but let me give you a time. Let me give you a moment for you to read them. Read them one by one so you have an idea what kind of information you are going to need. So read them, please, one by one. So you will see what type of information you're looking for. It can be a verb, a noun, a number, a percentage. Now listen and pay attention.
Welcome once again to Learning Curve. I'm Simon here in the UK, and with me is Penny in our US studio. Today, it's all about jobs. Are you one of the lucky people who loves their work?
Yes, I love my work.
Actually, Penny, I was talking to our audience. It's that kind of question.
Oh, sorry. It's just that I get so excited about what I do.
You mean working with me, of course.
Sure, right. And being a presenter for Learning Curve is quite rewarding. And believe me, I've had jobs that weren't rewarding at all.
And you used to be a sales assistant, didn't you?
Yes, but that job was so stressful. I don't even want to talk about it.
Well, we have a lot to cover anyway.
I mean, the working conditions were just awful.
Penny?
Sorry. Carry on.
Well, it isn't easy to find your dream job. One study found that only 30% of people who were born between the 1950s and the 1980s are happy in their work. Like me and Penny. We love our jobs. Even if they are well paid, they still feel unhappy. These days, working conditions are different than they once were. For some people, permanent jobs are not the answer. Over the last few years, more and more people have moved from temporary job to temporary job. In fact, in the US, the third largest job creator is a temporary agency. A temp agency is a company that hires people for short periods of time to fill in at other companies. So, if someone resigns, gets fired, or retires, someone called a temp can fill in.
We aren't temporary, are we?
I certainly hope not.
All right, now, and let's go with the first one. Penny finds her current job. How? How does she find her current job? Boring?
Exciting?
Exciting? No, I don't think so. He finds her current job rewarding is something positive. So he finds her current job rewarding. Why? Because she loves her job. So if you like your job, you're happy with your job. Yeah, my job is rewarding because I like it. I love it. I love what I do, right? Number two, she used to be a what? A
Sales assistant.
Sales assistant. That's right. What about number three? She found her previous job. How?
Stressful.
Stressful. Yeah, that's not good. That's why she quit. And she started a new job. All right, number 4. The working conditions in her previous job were
Awful.
awful. That's right. And then we are number 5. One study shows that only
30%.
30% of people like their job. Did you know this before? Wow, only 30% of people like their job. What about the rest? Done? Don't like them. Wow, I didn't know that. So that's why most people are like unemployed. They don't feel like they feel always tired and stressed because they don't like them, right? 6, even if they have well-paid job, other people feel
Unhappy.
unhappy. This is not good. Unhappy. That is correct. Happy at work, even they have well-paid jobs. They don't feel satisfied on what they do. 7, working conditions have changed and some people don't want a
temporary job.
temporary or a permanent. A permanent job because of the working conditions, because they are changing over throughout the time, the years, month. So that's why they don't want to have a permanent job. Number 8, what about this one? They the third largest employer in the US is a temp agency. Wow, do you know this? Yes, in the United States, there is this agency for unemployed people. That would be nice to have one of them in our country. That would be good. Now let's talk about this word. Let's talk about a permanent job. You know what a permanent job? You know what having a permanent job is? That maybe your contract is for an indefinite time, and so that's made permanent. You're gonna be working there for a long, long time. So you don't know what you're gonna be leaving that place. So what are the advantages of having permanent job? Let's go with the first one. For having a permanent job, what are the good things of having a permanent job? Any idea? So what are the advantages of having a permanent job?
The advantage of having a permanent job is stressful.
I would think that would be a disadvantage. We are talking about advantages, about what are the good things about having a permanent job. Maybe stressful will be a disadvantages, but we are talking about the advantages, the good things of having a permanent job. Any idea? Maybe if you work or if you have a permanent job, you would save more money than having a temporary job. Or what do you think? Any other, Fabia?
Yes, teacher, when you retire, you get paid for the years you worked.
Yeah, and you say, hey, it was rewarding. It was good to have a permanent job. You save money. You save more money than having a temporary job. That's right. Is there any other advantage of having a permanent job? Anybody else? Go.
is that you don't have to look for work all the time.
Yes, you don't have to look for another job. You are working there. You don't need to look for another job because you are permanent. Next one, what about a temporary job? What are the advantages of having a temporary job? Any idea? What are the advantages of having it? Yes, temporary. Yes, working for 3 months or 4 weeks. So what are the advantages of working for just a period of time? What do you think? What are the advantages? What are the good things about this? All right, think about it. Temporary. I would say that maybe you start working and you apply for a job and you are working, in a temporary way. So maybe in a process, in this period, maybe you're not gonna like it. So you can just quit. So you can just choose for another one. You can apply for another job. Or what do you think? Or what else? First, any other good things? What are the good things about having a temporary job? Think about it. Any idea? What do you think? We are going to discuss later on. Which would you like at this stage in your life? Yeah, have you read this question? Which would you like at this stage in your life? And at what stage are you right now? Have you finished university? Not all of you, right? You are still at the university. So at this stage that you are at the university, what would you like? What would you like? Would you like to apply for a company, for a job? I don't know, maybe you have something in mind. Have you ever decided yet? What about the future? What do you want to be in the future? What project do you have in your mind? Do you want to maybe, I don't know, start a family, or be focused on your studies and work and have a permanent job, or maybe you want to have a temporary job. So what are your plans? What are you planning to do this in terms of work? You're gonna tell me that later on. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's watch the second part, and now it's time to listen to these other people, and Iris, and also Kelly, and Janet. Okay, listen to Ira, Kelly, and Janet. So they are gonna be talking about their love or their dream job. So we're gonna answer the following question. What's Ira's job? We don't know. That he enjoyed it? And which job has Kelly applied for? Does she have any experience in that profession? And what's Janet's job? Is it a full-time job? We are going to answer this question after we watch or listen. Okay, pay attention. It's a 3 minutes length. Listen, dream job part 2. Let's enjoy.
Now, let's chat with people about their jobs. Penny is out on the street in New York.
Excuse me, can I ask you, do you like your job?
It's a great job. I manage the store. I'm responsible for making it successful. Can you believe when I started, it was just a temporary job?
Really? Can you tell us more about that?
Well, when my uncle retired, he asked me to take over. I had another job at the time, but told him I'd fill in until he could find someone. And then I realized I loved this place, so I stayed on. My uncle was happy to keep it as a family business.
So why do you love it so much?
Well, it varies day by day. And see, your camera, for example. That's an X300. I could help you do better.
Better?
Right. See this one right here? It's smaller, it takes a better picture, and I can offer you a great price for it.
Well, I don't think we're looking.
And that microphone, that's like 5 years old.
Well, thanks for your help.
Look at this one right here.
Okay, let's check in with Simon.
I'm on a Skype call with Kelly. She has a question.
Well, I've sent in my CV, a covering letter, and a salary request to a company for a job. So my question is, how many times should I call an office about a job interview?
Do you mean you sent them an application form?
Well, yes, that too. I phoned them 7 times, but they haven't called me back.
Wait, they haven't called you for an interview?
No.
What kind of job is it?
A television news reporter.
Do you have experience in television?
Oh, yeah, I watch it all the time.
Okay. Perhaps you should stop ringing them, or ask if you can do an internship instead. I'm not an expert, but I think 7 times is about the limit.
Oh, you're probably right. Internship, good idea, thanks.
Let's go back to Penny.
Excuse me, I'd like to ask you about work. Do you have a job?
Yes, I'm a zookeeper in Central Park.
Brilliant. What kind of animals do you take care of?
Actually, I just got a promotion. I work with the gorillas now.
Amazing. What kind of animals did you work with before?
The monkeys.
I see. You love working with animals then?
Well, yes and no. I'm not fond of cats. I'm allergic to them.
Really? How did you get a job working at the zoo?
Since I was a child, I always wanted to be a vet. When I saw the advertisement for zookeeper's assistant, I got lucky. Now I'm taking courses in animal care, studying to be a vet, and working here part-time. It's my dream career.
That's a great story. Back to you, Simon.
Wow, a dream come true at the zoo. And that's all we have time for today. Have you ever changed careers? What's your job experience like? Tell us about it. See you next time on Learning Curve.
Job experience. Everybody has a different one. Okay, now let's go with Ira. What's her job? Or what's his job? Sorry.
A manager store.
A manager store or a store manager? Yeah, he's a store manager. Does he enjoy it? Does he like his job?
Yes, he loves it.
Yes, he
Yeah,
loves.
love it. Look at his face. That's right. 3. Which job has Kelly applied for? Which job has Kelly applied for? She applied
A television reporter.
for a television news reporter. That's right. Number 4, does she have any experience in that profession?
No.
What do you think? No, she doesn't. Yes.
No,
what-
she doesn't.
Number 5, what's Janet's job?
Zookeeper in South Park.
She's a zoo. Yeah, we call it zookeeper. So she's a zookeeper. Is it a full-time job or a part-time job?
The part-time.
Part-time teacher.
It's a part-time job. So it's not a full-time job. It's just a part-time. Okay, good. This sounds very clear too. Listen one more time, but now for more specific information. But now this is just listening. And then we get to the main part. Okay, this one. And let's listen again, but let's complete the note about Ira, Kelly, and Janet with a word or phrase that you hear. Listen to each one of them.
Now, Let's chat with people about their jobs. Penny is out on the street in New York.
Excuse me, can I ask you, do you like your job?
It's a great job. I manage the store. I'm responsible for making it successful. Can you believe when I started, it was just a temporary job?
Really? Can you tell us more about that?
Well, when my uncle retired, he asked me to take over. I had another job at the time, but told him I'd fill in until he could find someone. And then I realized I loved this place, so I stayed on. My uncle was happy to keep it as a family business.
So why do you love it so much?
Well, it varies day by day. And see, your camera, for example, that's an X300. I could help you do better.
Better?
Right. See this one right here? It's smaller, it takes a better picture, and I can offer you a great price for it.
Well, I don't think we're looking.
And that microphone, that's like 5 years old.
Well, thanks for your help.
Look at this one right here.
Okay, let's check in with Simon.
I'm on a Skype call with Kelly. She has a question.
Well, I've sent in my CV, a covering letter, and a salary request to a company for a job. So my question is, how many times should I call an office about a job interview?
Do you mean you sent them an application form?
Well, yes, that too. I phoned them 7 times, but they haven't called me back.
Wait, they haven't called you for an interview?
No.
What kind of job is it?
A television news reporter.
Do you have experience in television?
Oh, yeah, I watch it all the time.
Okay. Perhaps you should stop ringing them, or ask if you can do an internship instead. I'm not an expert, but I think 7 times is about the limit.
Oh, you're probably right. Internship, good idea, thanks.
Let's go back to Penny.
Excuse me, I'd like to ask you about work. Do you have a job?
Yes, I'm a zookeeper in Central Park.
Brilliant. What kind of animals do you take care of?
Actually, I just got a promotion. I work with the gorillas now.
Amazing. What kind of animals did you work with before?
The monkeys.
I see. You love working with animals then?
Well, yes and no. I'm not fond of cats. I'm allergic to them.
Really? How did you get a job working at the zoo?
Since I was a child, I always wanted to be a vet. When I saw the advertisement for zookeeper's assistant, I got lucky. Now I'm taking courses in animal care, studying to be a vet, and working here part-time. It's my dream career.
That's a great story. Back to you, Simon.
Wow, a dream come true at the zoo. And that's all we have time for today. Have you ever changed careers? What's your job experience like? Tell us about it. See you next time on Learning Curve.
Yes. So when do we say a dream come true? When you get what you work for, when you get what you've been trained for. Yes. Okay, good. Note number 1. I was responsible for making the store. What's the missing word? Fabia.
Like a manager, store manager.
Can you complete the whole note, please?
Okay. Number 1, manager. Number 2, temporary job. Number 3, I'm not sure, but I write that his uncle taken other job, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, he took over. He took over as the manager when his uncle retired. Yes, retired. So listen, I was responsible for making the store successful. When he started working there, it was a temporary job. He took over as a manager when his uncle retired. Next one. Next, any other one? Kelly. Kelly has sent her what? Ask. Oh yeah. Kelly has sent her C.
CB.
Curriculum vitae is that is the abbreviation. We call this CV, or resume. We call it this one. Okay, good. So she has sent her resume, a covering or a cover letter, and a salary request to the TV company. She also sent them in what? Application form, and has called them, number 7. Call them 7 times. 7 times. Simon recommends asking if she can do an internship at the company instead. And then we have number 9 and 10. Janet used to work with monkeys, but she got a promotion, and now she works with gorillas. She's always wanted to be a what?
Zookeeper.
So who is a vet? Is a veterinarian. Okay, good. You are right. You got it. Good. Now let's go and listen and one more, and then we get to the main part. Do we still have time? Yes, we do. One more, okay? And we got one more listening. We need to pray and practice our ears. One more time. So listen, here you need to just listen to the sentence stress. Here, what is missing? The stress words are missing. So you need to just listen carefully and write and fill them out. Okay, listen and complete.
1.
It's hard to find your dream job.
2. Working conditions nowadays are different than they were in the past. 3.
I've always known what kind of job I wanted to do as an adult.
4.
How many times should I call a company about a job interview?
5. Is it more important for you to have a well-paid job or a rewarding job?
So, listen once again, but now I want you to practice saying these sentences. So you're going to listen one more time and you're going to repeat them. So what I'm trying to do here is that you emphasize, that you give intonation to the words. So it's not saying like this. It's hard to find your dream job. Instead of saying, it's hard to find a dream job. Working conditions nowadays are different than they were in the past. Intonation. Stress your word. Stress your sentences. Whenever you talk, or anytime you not talk or just interact with someone, it's important that you give intonation. You raise your voice. Don't talk in a flat way. You need to give ups and down, ups and down. Listen one, and then you repeat.
One.
It's hard to find your dream job.
Repeat.
2. Working conditions nowadays are different than they were in the past.
Repeat.
3.
I've always known what kind of job I wanted to do as an adult.
Repeat. I always know what kind of job I wanted to do as an adult. That's the way.
4.
How many times should I call a company about a job interview?
Repeat. How many times should I call a company about a job interview?
5. Is it more important for you to have a well-paid job or a rewarding job?
That's right. Is it more important for you to have a well-paid job or a rewarding job? Intonation is really important. Even more if it's a question. You need to add intonation. Like, do you like your job? What do you do for a living? How many times should I call a company about a job interview? Is it more important for you to have a well-paid job or a rewarding job? So that is not that you read fast. It's that you read and give intonation. So it doesn't matter if you just read slow, but it is you practice over and over again until you sound more natural and then you sound more fluent. Okay, now it's time for you to talk. It's time for us to put in practice what we have been doing in this lesson. We are going to be talking about job. We have been talking about work, about the job we like to be, we like to do, in our dream job. That's what made topic 2. So let's do this together. I was asking you at the beginning or previously about if you have you ever gone through an interview before? No, never, not yet. So this is what we're going to be doing now, because I think it's going to be very useful and helpful in our lives. So just in case you just apply for a job and you are going to be ready how to behave, what to say in this kind of situation in an interview. So this is what we are going to be doing. We are going to do a mock interview. Do you know what is a mock interview? What is a mock interview? Any idea? 1 point for the one who tell me what's a mock interview.
In Spanish, teacher.
Go ahead. What's in it? What is it?
Sería como un tipo simulacro de una entrevista.
You are right. So this is what we are going to be doing. Thank you, Fabia. That is, here we go. So we are going to work in pairs, and you're going to decide who is going to be the interviewer and who is going to be the interviewee. The interviewer is the one who is going to ask the questions. An interviewee is the one who is going to answer the question, respond to the interviewer. So let me give you the question that you should use, or the possible question that you should use. It's going to be up to you, okay? So how do we begin an interview? What is the first question that the interviewer is going to ask when we just get or start the interview? The first one.
What is your name?
Yes. So tell me about yourself. That is the first thing that you're going to be this one, right? So, good morning, sir. Good morning, miss. Please tell me a little about yourself, or tell me about yourself. So what do we include in this part? You know, it's a short information about your studies, about your life, about your experience at work, about your experience in school and college and everything. Tell me about yourself. So that is the first question that you should use in an interview. Second question. What else? What comes next? Maybe I'm going to ask the second question. That is going to be this one. And what are your strengths? Yes. What are your strengths? Do you know what strengths mean? What are you good at? Right? What are your strengths? ¿Cuáles son tus fortalezas? ¿En qué es bueno? You say, man, I'm good at doing this. I'm good at cooking. I'm good at working with people. I'm good with Speaking, I'm good. I speak 3 or 4 languages. So what are your strengths? You say, hey, I like working with people. I like to work as a team. I don't know. Okay, what are your strengths? You need to answer this one. Next one. Maybe you need to the next the interview. We're gonna answer this question. Why should I hire you? Wow, this is a very good question. Why should I hire you? I mean, you may say, because I'm a very responsible person. I developed this word that is commitment. I always love what I do. I always do my best. So why should I hire you? You need to give a great response why you should be hired and work in that place. Maybe next question. Let me give you, maybe it's gonna be this one. What motivates you? So what motivates you? You should have, we all have something in mind though. Yeah, what motivates you to work, to study, to do your best, to operate and end up in a workplace too. Next question. Is there any other one that we should use? Maybe, where do you see yourself in, let's say in 5 years? Let's try to divide this one too. So where do you see yourself in 5 years? Hey, I got this one. So maybe, what do you want to be? I mean, what do you want to be in 5 years? Maybe you want to be a doctor and you see yourself in a company, you see yourself working in a business place, I don't know. Okay, next one. Then we have the next question will be this one. The last one, the last but not least. And the reason why do you why do you want why do you want to work here, or why do you want this job? So that's the question that you're going to ask. Why do you want to work here? Or you might say, why do you want this job? And you might say, because of this, because I am capable, I am ready, I'm being trained for this, and I'm gonna be, and I think I'm gonna just do my best. I don't know. Okay. So this is what we're gonna be doing now. So in pairs. So do you decide who's gonna be the interviewer and the interviewee? Okay, and then you switch. Okay, then you switch. The idea that you both give and respond and answer the questions, please. Okay, I'm gonna give you, let's say here, 10 minutes for you. 10 minutes for you to, reflect, think of an answer about your clear. The idea that you show and share your own comments, your own opinions. But hey, imagine that you are having a real job interview. How are you going to start the interview? You start greeting. Hello, good morning. Sit down, please. Right? And then you start with the interview. And then once you finish, you say, and maybe, yeah, thank you very much. I will call you, or maybe have, I don't know. You have the yes, that, and the protocols that we should follow when you go to an interview. Okay? Have you written down all this question in your notebooks or in a piece of paper? Okay, please take a screenshot or take a picture, because you're gonna work based on this question in your mock interview. Okay, so let's see how our mock interview go. But let's just use your imagination. Be creative. Speak louder. Use intonation. Stress your words. Stress your sentence. Okay, you might select this. Hello, good morning. How are you? Or may say, please tell me a little about yourself. Exactly. Give intonation. Use your hands, right? And use body gestures. That is that you just make it natural and do your best. Okay. And so you will have 10 minutes. So once you ask the question to your partner, then you switch. Okay. All right. Let's go. Any question, any comments before we start? Please be ready and yes, do your best. We start from And how many people are we? Okay, it doesn't matter if we are working as a group of 3. That is that you just talk and work. Okay, please give me a second. I'm going to create the multiple rooms right now. And we start from now on. Okay, that's good. You're working with, okay, give me a second. I think I'm gonna be working with T2. I think that's right. Okay, so let's begin. You are getting a request for joining a new room. Please click on that. Go. Click on that request again now, please, and you may start. 10 minutes, please hurry up and do your best.